You know, one of the perks about sleeping at a hotel.
What's that?
Is it's a new environment, so you can't get any sleep.
Oh, but you know what I think you might be suffering from? Really? Is altitude sickness, man. The altitude.
I feel fine, but
your blood is not properly oxygenated.
I got all the oxygen I need.
You know that's water.
Got oxygen in it. It's oxidized. 4 hours of sleep. Episode 6. We're doing this.
Let's go.
Ain't that just the way it goes?
Hello people, I'm Jaby Koay, joined by Syntell Koay.
What's cracking?
And we're on episode 6 of Family Man Season 2. This one is called Martyrs. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're gonna see a 5-minute cut down of our reaction. Not necessarily 5 minutes of reaction, but 5 minutes of picture-in-picture, because that's the maximum we're allowed to show you from Amazon. If you wanna watch the entire reaction uncut, uninterrupted, then head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/JabyKoay, where you can watch it along with us, but you will need your own Amazon Prime subscription so you can open up the episode in an adjacent window to our reaction, and it's like you're watching it with your 2 favorite pals from the internet. Ding! So if you are new to the Patreon situation, I give you guys a 3, 2, 1 countdown to make it easy to sync up the show with our reaction. Anywho, let's get started.
Okay, we're still on the island. I know he's gonna be like, yo, where's the third person?
जबराज उसको वापस लाते तो मिशन पूरा नहीं कर पाते। इस C4 का डेटोनेटर्स उसके पास थे। उसके घर पर होंगे।
Oh, that's a big whoops.
I like how they all just collectively stopped. They're like, uh-oh.
Yo, this mission just keeps getting... Seems like this group is a little bit more sloppy than I would have thought they would have been.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It's a little bit more.
I tell you,
my wife Suchi makes better sambar than this.
घर के सांबर की कीमत बाहर निकल के मालूम पड़ता है।
You know what I've noticed a lot in this show?
What's that?
They celebrate food a lot.
It's part of the culture.
Yeah.
तुम्हें देर होगी शिकांत।
चलम साहब।
हाथ धोते रहो।
My man be showing up like a phantom.
Local 52. We are an basic smuggler है। जबराज, वो तुम्हें इस एड्रेस पे मिलेगा।
I like him.
And stop wasting water.
Who's watching? That's what I want to know. Who's watching? Why is he so, like, a paranoid?
I say he's super paranoid. Something bad must happen. Another travel trip. You remember what happened last time she went on a travel trip? Whoa.
Hey!
Oh.
This is interesting because she's really smart and he's really smart.
But they're both out of their element too, though, at the same time.
Oh, this guy's dead.
Yes. He was like, I'm not doing that.
Say again?
He chose the stairs instead of sliding. I was just, it's just a smart move.
Oh, that sucks.
Don't move. Hey, बाजी ले ले। क्या रही है ये?
Get up!
Are you okay?
What?
Are you okay?
He's like, I just got my ass kicked.
I was not expecting a fishing net to catch her.
No.
थलाइवा वो कहीं लंदन में छुपा हुआ है and is getting all the dangerous work done by these young people. कैसा लीडर है तुम्हारा थलाइवा?
தலைவரே ஏஸ்டேட் நடக்குதே. பாரு கேக்குற கேள்வி கூட பதில் சொல்லு. புரியுதா?
8 years back, it was my wedding anniversary. We went out to have dinner. And suddenly कुछ लोग अंदर घुसे बंदूक के साथ और लोगों पे उन्होंने गोलियां बरसानी शुरू की। तो मुझे ऐसा लगा जैसे कि मेरे हाथ का वजन भारी होता जा रहा है। And I looked down at it. It was.
मेरे पिताजी स्कूल टीचर थे। लंका नामी ने स्कूल पर एयर रेड की और मेरे पिताजी की डेड बॉडी भी नहीं मिली। वो लोग मुझे बेस पर लेके गए थे और वहाँ एक के बाद एक इतने सोल्जर्स मुझे याद भी नहीं। फिर तलेवर उन्होंने मुझे बचाया। मेरी कहानी सच है।
Whoa!
जो भी करना है करो। मैं कुछ नहीं बताऊंगी।
She pulled that card. Wow.
How does she know that?
I don't know.
So I'm getting reports of movement in the village. So we can't stay here for long.
As soon as the backup come, we all leave from here.
Oh. I guess they'll track her. They'll let her get captured and track her.
Everybody's gone? Oh, it's about to go down.
Sir, JK और मधु को फोन करके वापस बुलाओ. Get all the constable inside. Lock down the entire police station.
So what's happening?
We are under attack. Hold the fire!
Oh God.
Pop.
Go me! Go me!
Get Raji here.
Yeah, she gone.
Come on.
मर्द बनने का कोई शौक नहीं है मुझे। साजिद, पीछे हो, मार दूंगा इसको।
Dang.
Oh shit.
Oh.
राजू को लेके निकलो, जल्दी करो।
Oh shit. Oh. Damn.
Oh, in the throat. Oh my God. Good stunt, my guy. Wow.
Damn.
ये मादर चोद श्रीकांत हर बार मेरे काम के बीच में आया।
श्री कहाँ हो? श्री क्या हुआ?
Nothing. बाद में फोन करता हूँ.
He's about to call that boy. Yeah, man, but he's in love.
वो लड़की कल तक अपने कब्जे में चाहिए।
हो जाएगा भाई।
रख।
All right, so they wanted to up the ante from the hospital scene in season 1. That whole action sequence that was absolutely mind-blowing.
It was really good.
Now they wanted to achieve that by doing an epic oneer, And those are very, very difficult to do. For those of you that don't know, I actually did a short film that was a complete wonder. It's not out, it hasn't been, I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day for creative reasons, but they're hard to do. And my thing was just dialogue. This is like guns, action, blood, and people falling down, stunt work, acting. Yeah. There's a lot of pressure there on the talent. There's a lot of pressure on the cameraman. There's a lot of pressure on the editing to stitch it together. Mm-hmm. And I could see a couple of the stitching points where they were trying to make it work. For me, just viscerally speaking, that hospital scene, I don't know that it competes with that. I think the hospital scene, there's something about that hit me in a way that, I don't know if that can be matched. It was emotional, and the way it was shot, the action, everything there. And also keeping in mind it wasn't being challenged by COVID restrictions. Right. So I don't know if that hampered production here at all. That being said, despite the fact that I felt like there were some shortcomings within the shooting of this particular action sequence, I thought that it still felt visceral. There were still some really good moments, some of which I wish lasted longer. Mm-hmm. Ironically, because I was complimenting how there was a lot of short action moments of choreography and fights and whatnot. Right. But the most important thing, I think more than anything, is the emotional weight. And what that concluded on was something with a lot of emotional weight. And that's what's important for me, because he got on that phone call with his wife and he was trying to open up to someone. And the moment he had that opportunity, he's like, yeah, I can't. He just can't. I'm sitting next to Syntell. I'm like, I can't be crying right now. This isn't this isn't the place for it. No, you know what I mean? It's some bullshit masculine thing. But I thought that was very powerful. His acting there was great.
I'm glad that you brought the hospital scene involved into it. Okay, so let's be clear. It was not the hospital scene. Yeah. The hospital scene was a whole other animal in a lot of different levels. The camera movement seemed a little bit different. The way, the cinematics, the color palette is a little bit different. The build-up was a little bit different as well. The loss of specific characters' lives is different as well, because they had the guy that to me was hard as nails in season 1 that ended up getting shot when the elevator opens up. To me, that hit a lot harder because it was not expected, completely not expected, because this guy was a badass. He was tough. He was putting the bodies down, and then just out of nowhere he dies. Right? Yeah. This was different because you're talking about a character that's feeling guilty. He's got survivor's remorse. He's still trying to understand the reason behind why he's fighting. So we've been kind of walking with the path with this guy as he's trying to figure out what does it all mean. I'm not saying that tips the hat to say that he's going to die, but we knew something was going to happen. Something has to justify all of this. Yeah. So when he died, I wasn't surprised. Were you surprised? I was shocked when he got hit. Yeah. And I was like, and the first thing that popped in my mind, I was like, can he survive that? Yeah. When he got shot in the hand, I'm like, oh, he's good. He's just disarmed. Then he got hit.
But the fact that he got disarmed got me scared for him. Because his shooting hand is gone. Right. I'm like, oh, it's a wrap. There's no way he's walking out of this. Yeah. That's what I felt. And then when he got killed, I was like, damn it. I just felt bad for him because he'd gone through he's gone through so much shit only to go out like that. I felt bad for the dude. And it was Manoj Bajpayee's reaction to the whole thing that really got me.
But that was what made it good. Yeah. Unfortunately, and this is just unfortunate, maybe it's for me, I didn't connect well enough with that character while he's going through his survivals. For whatever reason, I don't even know if it's a director's action or if it's just the way the actor went about it. But for whatever the reason was, it just didn't connect with me on the same level as the hospital scene when we lost one of our favorite characters. Right?
Well, that's because that dude was wicked. That dude was really good. It was like losing a major chess piece.
Yes, I mean a powerful chess piece, a knight on the chess table. You know what I'm saying?
So I get that feeling.
But Manoj, what can be said about this cat, man? I mean, he's very versatile, extremely versatile. He knows how to let the moment breathe, and I didn't want to look away. I didn't, and I felt it. I felt it welling because he's going through his own process as well. But forget that. Just in the moment, right then and there, he lost a friend. He lost a friend that he talked back from the edge.
Right. That's exactly. He felt guilty.
Yeah. I mean, he talked back and put him right back in the fray again, and then this happens. Yeah. And you can see him as he's leaning back against the wall and he's looking, and you can just see, you're just reading his face and everything. Did I do this? Was this the right decision? I can't believe he's gone. Am I here right now? Who can I talk to? His brain is just going, and it's just grief-ridden, and it's just another one of those situations. I think he saved the episode.
Yes.
With that moment.
Yes, he did.
This isn't to say that it was a bad episode. It wasn't a bad episode. You're right. I do think that they tried to go back into familiar territory of what we loved about season 1. And it was just good. That was it. It was just good.
In the last discussion, you were saying how you missed that cool camera work.
Yeah.
And they were trying to up the ante here. I think that when you're doing a oneer, it's like it's really ambitious.
Yes.
And it's so hard to pull off.
Yes.
And I kind of wish that this wasn't a oneer. I understand the objective is to make you feel like you're in the throes of the action and it doesn't stop and it's so visceral and real. But sometimes in order to fudge those moments where, oh shoot, like there's a mistake here or there's a cut here, blending that together, sometimes you lose the momentum or you lose connection with the action. I got a sense as to where this sequence was headed when it was following the cop down the stairs. I'm like, okay, I think they're going to try to go for a oneer here. There was something about the way the hospital sequence was shot that I don't think was a oneer. I don't recall. Was it a oneer? Do you remember? I just remember the visceral feeling.
It had long shots.
Okay.
In it, but that entire scene wasn't a oneer.
Okay.
No.
And so what's important there is with the emotional takeaway.
Right.
And so when people went down here, like I felt it sometimes, but it was like it wasn't as I didn't feel it as much as I did with the hospital sequence. And maybe that has a lot to do with a precedent being set and having expectations to meet that precedent, right? Like Daredevil season 1, episode 2, there's a hallway fight scene. Amazing hallway fight scene. One of my all-time favorite fight scenes ever caught on camera. And they tried to up it in season 2 with a stairwell fight.
Right.
It couldn't compare.
It wasn't the same.
It just couldn't compare.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Please finish your thought though.
Yeah, and so sometimes that's the thing that happens is when you have this thing that's so amazing, like what's his name? Orson Welles did Citizen Kane.
Right.
Every film he did after that, he couldn't measure up.
No.
He spent his entire life trying to beat Citizen Kane. Not that Raj and DK are trying to, forever try to beat that elevator sequence, but like there's an easy comparison to be made there, and it's like maybe it just can't be touched, and that's okay.
Right.
This was a cool scene. If this was the first of its kind that we'd ever seen, like it would be mind-blowing. But because it's not the first of its kind, we have other things to draw upon.
Exactly.
Like the Matthew McConaughey thing that he did with Woody Harrelson. What's it called again? True Detective.
Yeah.
There's a oneer in there. Mind-blowing.
That's the one I keep confusing one. Yeah, when they're in the projects.
Yes.
And and it's at nighttime in the projects. It's so good.
Amazing, right? Now, I don't know what the budget was. I don't know what the constraints were with COVID and whatnot. I don't know like what their limitations were in trying to get this very, very ambitious thing done. And, for me, there's still a hat tip to the ambition.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that they went for it.
Yeah. You have to go for it.
Yeah. They're trying to do something they haven't done before. They're trying to take it in a new direction they haven't done before, because why do the same thing? Right. That's basically what they were telling me when I interviewed them. Why we don't want to do what we've done before.
Right.
We want to do something new. And so, sometimes it's an amazing, win, and sometimes it's like, okay, that wasn't quite as good as the last one. Yeah. And so, like, being real, it wasn't as cool as the hospital scene. We both acknowledge that. But there was still some decent moments in here where I was like, oh shit, okay. The thing that I wanted to last longer, which is complicated when you're doing a oneer, is some of the fight choreography, like, especially the moment with girl getting choked out by the rope.
Yeah.
That whole sequence was like done quick. I'm like, no, but that's a possibility at redemption for the female cop.
Right.
Because she already had an encounter with her before and she lost.
Yes.
And so this was supposed to be a moment where maybe she almost has a victory, but then she loses because like maybe one of the villains shows up and takes her out or something. Like, who knows? Like, obviously this was a complicated thing that was orchestrated, and that is not an easy thing to change. But I wish that fight went on a little longer and gave me the hope that female cop was going to take her out, even though it's impossible. Yeah. The dude's a gorilla, like soldier. What would happen after that? Right before his Manoj Bajpayee's friend got shot, he's getting choked by the gun. I wanted something a little bit more intricate there, nothing like kung fu or martial arts, but just something more, because we haven't seen Manoj do too much. Now, I don't know what his capabilities are, but nevertheless, like, I want to believe he is James fucking Bond. I want to believe he is that bad and that powerful, and so I want to see him do some stuff that like is kind of that back pocket stuff that he put away for a long time, and it just comes out because his training is that good.
Right.
That's what I wanted to see here, and I didn't get enough of that. I wanted to see why he's the top, not just because he's so smart,
right?
But he's deadly with his hands as well. And it's like this was an opportunity for us to finally get that moment.
Okay.
And I feel like it was lost there. Like he was almost gonna get choked up by the gun thing. It was like 2 moves and he was gonna die.
Yeah.
Now, in defense of the show, that's more realistic. Is like these things are like bing bang boom. The fight's over in 3 hits.
Right.
That's way more realistic. But from an entertainment perspective,
right.
I wanted that to last longer. You know what I mean?
I disagree just a little bit regarding Minaj.
Okay.
Minaj Bajpayee.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's simply because I wonder if he was like, yo, I want to do this stunt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I disagree just a little bit, because it was a medium shot for one, and you see it like you see it's him.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets it and he catches it, and I was like, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Because everything is moving so quickly, the camera's moving so quickly and all that. It's hard to kind of like fake that, and then it drags all the way to the wall. So for me, I want to give him a hat tip for that.
Definitely, yeah.
Because the easy way is to just get a stunt guy and then make it as brutal as you were asking for. But I would have lost that connection with that medium. It went from medium and then to a close up because you could see him actually struggling. I wouldn't want to trade that in.
No. I agree with you. I wish they gave him some kind of tactical CQC training or something that they could have integrated. Like the way she moves, I want to see him be just as bad. Not at the same level, he's obviously older, but you watch something like Liam Neeson in Taken 1, it's like there's this cool thing when you see these guys like using these wrist-locking moves that's like Aikido or Jiu-Jitsu, knocking people, like flipping people over. The way she took this dude's hand in one of the previous episodes and just twisted it and flipped him over, which is very much like Hapkido or Aikido.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like an Indian martial arts equivalent, but that's my reference. It looked cool. I'm like, I know that move. I studied that move myself, and I've used that. I had to test with that move, and so like it is familiar to me. And I love how they integrated it.
Right.
I wanted to see him do something similar, and it just has never come up. It's like in the throes of this action. It's just like I don't know how he survived. Right. He's just smart, but he has no physical, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, he's never really had athletic prowess. Let's just be clear on this.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think we really learned that last season when he was chasing the guy that was getting away. He was clearly more athletic, and he had to get the scooter. I think that kind of like set the tone. It's like, okay,
but I see him as
Jason Bourne.
No, but I see him as kind of a Yoda. Or I wanted to.
Well, I mean, but that's a Yoda move. He's going to be smarter than him. I can't out-muscle and out-fast this guy. He's a young man.
Right.
But I'm smarter than him because I'm going to get the scooter and still catch him. I would like to see that translated into this scene, because this was more of gunplay. You got to be quick and fast in order to survive this particular conflict. We didn't get a chance to see Minaj Bajpayee in the hospital scene. Mm-hmm. Because he was someplace else, right? Like he was on his way to the hospital when all of this stuff was going down in season 1. That was another brilliant thing about the season 1, the hospital scene, is that we got to see all the side characters shine. Mm-hmm. Especially the villains. Everything from the drive, everything that was great. They're like getting ready and they're in the van, and dude's like, I don't know if we're ready, and he's like, never tell your dad how the fuck, I'm going down to the hospital. I'm about to get my guy. Yeah. We're not even gonna talk about it. Even when they're in the elevator going up, like all these great scenes, even at the side scene where they're going into the bathroom, and there was a lot of small little cool moments that really expressed the story throughout the action of that particular fight scene. This just did not have that.
Yeah.
This focused on the main character of her trying to escape. Minaj saved it all with his emotional. He saved that entire scene by not shooting a gun and wrestling somebody down and doing all that. He saved, to me, that scene by a piece of him dying. Mm-hmm. As he's processing his friend laying there. Yeah. That, to me, saved the scene. Everything else was a victim of its own previous success.
Gotcha.
If had I never seen the hospital scene, this would have been good. Yeah. I mean, that's terrible.
It would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But because of the hospital scene and everything that they did to make the hospital scene what it is, it's a legendary scene, man. Yeah. It's a legendary scene. Yeah. This is just good.
Yeah. It's not just the hospital scene. It's also having seen a lot of oneers before it. Yeah. I mean, you have Children of Men. It's like that's the most famous one, I think. And then in Extraction, the film Extraction, they did a oneer there.
On the bridge.
What I don't like is when I can see the marrying of two different shots.
But see, your eye is trained to see it now.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like I'm a different person than your average audience, I suppose. But like 1917, the first time I saw 1917, I was blown away. I'm like, how did they do this? The second time I watched it, it wasn't a special.
Right.
Because I could start to see, I didn't know what I was walking into.
Right.
But with the second time I saw it, I could see all the stitching, all the points of cutting, and I'm like, oh, now I'm reminded of what's happening. Now I'm reminded I'm watching a show and what they're trying to go for. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. This is amazing as a feat. It's but like there was a moment where like I could see a jump cut. I'm like, okay, I see what they're trying to do here. It's tough, and like I feel for it. It's a hard thing to do. What was interesting was like some of the stunt work that was happening, like when the first cop got shot and he just falls to the floor. Yeah. I wonder how all that went down. It sucks. Like this is part of a wonder. Like when they shot The Matrix, I think it was
the lobby scene.
No, on the roof, the helicopter when Trinity says, "Dodge this." Yeah. I might be wrong, but I think that was the guy who doubled Keanu Reeves and became one of the co-directors of John Wick. I could be wrong about that, but in that scene, it was a wide shot. There was no way to hide it, so he was pulled on a wire onto the roof. And his head was bleeding after the third take because they just had to do it. He just had to take it. There was no way to like pad him up. Right. And so when I see that kind of thing where it's like you see everything. Yeah. This is not a thing where you can just jump to a 70mm because it's a oner. Yeah. No, that's true. And so dude fell down. I'm like, God, everyone falling down. I'm just like, oh God, how much did that hurt? How much did that suck? How much did that suck? Yeah. I'm feeling for the stunt guys involved. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even think about it on that level.
Yeah. So anyway, we're really obsessed with this like ending sequence here, which is like the one take deal, which is actually like a couple of takes. There might have been more cuts in there that I didn't catch.
Oh, so. I probably would say there's probably no less than 5. Okay. Probably like no less. Our central villain, are we still feeling the same way about her? Like, is she still holding the throne as like the must-see villain? Or, because to me, I feel like she's kind of like peaking now, especially now that she's wounded. I don't know what else they can like really do with her. She can't really fly the plane. Her main steez is hand-to-hand combat, and she's hurt, so that's kind of taken away from her.
She's still got an arm and 2 legs, dude.
I'm wondering. I'm like, well, what else can you do with her? Like,
right. I see her as kind of like, I made this reference before in the previous one of the previous discussions, but I see her as kind of like Jet Li in Lethal Weapon 4. Okay. Like, she's dangerous. Yeah. One arm, she's still dangerous. I don't know what she's got left, but she has heart like nobody's business. Yeah. And so that will go a long way.
She did have a great moment when she told her story. And then she put the cherry on top and was like, and mine is all real, unlike your fake ass. Because we've seen him tell some fake stories in season 1. He kind of got called out on it. This one, when he told a story, it ended up really being true because he's just a really good liar. That's the thing about him. That's his skill set. And she sniffed that out. Right? Yeah. You're not me. We're not built the same.
There's one thing I gotta mention, because it happened twice in this episode. It happened in the chase sequence earlier when she got tackled by the fishing net. Yeah. And it happened here when his friend got shot. There's something in the way the action is building that something happens at the end of it that feels like it ends prematurely, and it's because it doesn't feel like it's being built up to that final moment. There's something, I don't know how to articulate it perfectly, but like, okay, I'm gonna use a really crass analogy, but imagine that like you are pleasuring a woman and you're expecting this orgasmic moment that is like a blue film, that's what they call it in India. But it's like she goes, oh, okay, I'm good. That like, but you're expecting a much bigger reaction, right? It's sort of something that's like not as satisfying as the guy, and so I'm sorry for that crass comparison, but like here, it's like you're building up to this thing, and then it just stops. I'm like, well, hold on, what? Like, like a fishing net? Yeah.
Like, I was bummed by the fishing net. Yeah, I was bummed.
Yeah, like because like there's this thing where it's almost like Nolan was talking about it in some video I was watching of his the other day on YouTube. Is just like that just like stacking on top of stacking, and then it's just like the denouement, like a film script, like it's building towards the end of the second act, and then that release. You know what I mean? And I'm missing that feeling in the action sequences in this particular episode. It should feel like it's ramping up to that bone break or something, and it just it just kind of suddenly stops. And I'm not sure if that's deliberate because that's more realistic or if it's an artistic choice that just doesn't resonate with me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. I think that's kind of like what was missing. What's the difference between, the hospital and this? It's that crescendo.
That's the word I was looking for, is crescendo. Thank you.
It's like when it's done, you're just like, oh my God, I need a cigarette.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, and this is just kind of like, okay, all right. I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like when you go to a restaurant the very first time and they have whatever that thing is that they're known for making, and you have it and you're like, yes, I get it. I understand why this sausage patty or this burger is legendary. And then you go back the second time, and it's the same burger.
Yeah. And it's
just different. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like an easy to reference fight scene. Like think of the end of The Matrix. That's an easy thing that a lot of us have watched.
Yeah.
In the end of The Matrix, Neo becomes the one and he stops the bullets when the agents are trying to shoot him. And there's this moment where he's running towards Agent Smith and jumps into him, and Agent Smith looks at the two other agents and it explodes everywhere.
Yeah.
There's this feeling of building up to that explosion that you sort of are on the ride with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For that crescendo moment. And I like, just to really like drive the point home, that's what I didn't get from these sequences, is that crescendo moment. And maybe that'll come later in the season, but as it stands right now, I'm like, oh, I wish that we had those in those two sequences, because that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about, this was more of an action episode.
Well, I mean, and the thing is that I feel like they hurt us last episode, because last episode we were like, man, we need to get like a little bit of what the old thing was, a little bit of the old thing back, and that's what this episode is.
Yeah.
And I think we've just been like kind of like foaming at the mouth for it and frothing and like we gotta have. So when we got it, and we're like, this is it, and we're looking at everything like eyes dilated. We're soaking it all in because this is what we've been waiting for. And it was good.
I think that for me, funny enough, like the big takeaway for me is that thing we talked about first, which is Manoj and his acting, and Rajan DK just letting him do his thing,
letting that scene breathe.
A director or directors, as it were, allowing the actors to do what they do best is always a relief, rather than getting caught up in all kinds of camera angles and whatnot and trying so hard to overdo the emotion, because I've seen that, and I've seen that in Indian films where they're really trying to make me feel something so much that I don't get to feel it, whether it's the way the camera's doing something or focusing on a teardrop or the music being too much. There it was just like, we're just gonna let Manoj carry this to the end, and that was a very, very smart choice in my opinion, because like the only cut we had was to see the wife to like answer the phone, and like I don't know why he didn't open up, but maybe it's a thing where he's trying to protect her, or maybe it's a thing where he can't because it's a guy thing. Whatever the reasons are, I almost cried with him. It's just like, God, that was gut-wrenching, because like even though we didn't connect with dude who went down, we felt it vicariously through Manoj.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that discussion. I am so sorry, Raj and DK. Love you guys still.
I mean, I still think this is really good work.
Yeah.
It is really good work. I mean, and I don't envy your responsibility in order to make us become entertained on the same level, man. That's a very difficult thing to do. You raise the bar so high.
Yeah.
And you're doing a very good job, and I'm still very grateful for the ride.
Compliments to the show, because I'm on 4 hours of sleep and I'm engaged.
Yeah.
Like the only other time I can express that's happened for me was with Interstellar. I watched that on 3 hours of sleep at 3 a.m. It's a 3-hour film, and I was engaged.
You're a soldier for that.
So like I'm engaged in the show, So that's to me that's a big compliment. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you're watching this on Patreon, thanks so much for supporting us here. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and hit that bell icon, all notifications. Make sure to check out Syntell on youtube.com/Syntell, as well as his Instagram @Syntell. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, and interviews. I'm Jaby Koay. It's your boy. Peace out.